At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in Healthcare Informatics, Digital Marketing and Analytics, Business Analytics, or Financial Analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Now, let's have some more breaking news. We have the former director in charge of
all criminal investigations there at the FBI.
And see what his reaction is to Jonathan Solomon's allegations.
All right, let's go to Chris Swecker. Chris, it's really great to have you here. I don't know if you saw this story. I know we sent it to you. This is from John Solomon talking about how the FBI was doing all these investigations, while President Trump was in office and during Biden's time. And they include obviously the ones we knew about, but that there were two other ones too. So it was like 10 years full of investigations against Trump and anybody attached to Trump, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, shades of the COINTEL program back in the 70s and J. Edgar Hoover's rolling over in his grave. This is misuse of the system. They had 4 different probes on the president and then a presidential candidate, and they had sort of ideologues leading the investigations. We know that, and we knew it at the time, but we didn't know with the certain level of certainty that we know now. And it's just heartbreaking to see the FBI used in that manner. And I'm glad the offenders are no longer there; they're long gone. But they've done damage. Yeah,
we have George Venizelos with us too. George.
Hey, Chris, George. How are you?
George, how are you, buddy?
Good. It's unfortunately, it's going to take years for the Bureau to get back where it needs to be. And I've always say the FBI is so important to this country, in many ways. And we need a strong FBI. We need to get the FBI strong again sooner than later.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know that the FBI handles some of the most critical missions for our country. The counterintelligence mission, they have the lead. They have the counterterrorism mission. They have the lead. They go after criminal enterprises, as you well know, having served and sort of knocked out the mob, been a part of knocking out the organized crime families in this country. But they've been replaced by other more, even more sinister crime families, the cartels and the Russian mob, and there are things that only the FBI can do, and they have to stick with that and get off the political cases.
Absolutely. Chris Swecker, who was with the FBI for 25 years. I want to ask you about also the threat level too.
So what year does John Solomon say this happened?
Well, John Solomon says it happened from 2016 to 2025.
That's the stretch. When President Trump became president the first time.
Right, exactly. So from the very beginning.
And the lead up.
Yeah, the lead up
to the election as
well.
You're
right, Chris. It's summer of 2016.
Yeah. And Chris, I don't know if you know or you don't know, who do you think was pressing the buttons?
I think McCabe was pressing the buttons in a big way. I think there, we had people like Lisa Page, Peter Strzok. I mean, they're big offenders. I mean, we know from their texts how deeply ideological they were and what a deep and abiding hatred they had for Trump and his supporters. They said in their text that they could smell their supporters in the big box stores and Walmarts and that sort of thing.
That's right.
It's interesting that Peter, if you read the IG reports, Page and Strzok did not know that the FBI could reconstruct their texts. They thought they were only saved for a few days and then they disappeared. And the IG found a way to resurrect all of them.
It's sad. I think DOJ played a big part too, pushing the FBI and the FBI
Agreed.
leadership. And the FBI
and
who
was the head of the DOJ then? Merrick Garland. Right.
Yep. And we didn't have Chris Swecker types to push back. That's the problem. So then they
needed pushback. You're right.
Yeah.
They did. And I've been witness to people in high positions pushing back to their, to the Attorney General, for example. I saw Bob Mueller do it, for example. 100%. I saw Louis Freeh do it.
Yep.
You can do it. They don't. They're not. They may be. We may be a bureau off of the Department of Justice, but that doesn't mean that you can't push back at them when they're wrong.
And I think you have to, and that's why I gave
Louis Freeh was one tough guy. He was part of our the famous cigar, the Yale Club cigar smoking group. Yeah, Louis Freeh and me were part of that.
I love Louis. Louis is a great
He pushed
guy.
Back on the president.
Yeah, he sure did.
I got a story to tell you real quick, 30 seconds or less. I succeeded in every task President Clinton gave me except one. Yeah. And he gave me a lot of tasks. The task of making peace between him and Louis Freeh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. Chris, you're getting it here hot off the press, Chris Swecker.
Yeah. Well, if you read Louis' book and you kind of watch what happened back then, he did not want to have anything to do with the White House. He made it a point to sign in whenever he was asked to go to the White House. He wanted it documented when he went there. He kept his business minimal. Janet Reno was the Attorney General during some of that time period. I don't think he had much use for her either. Yeah.
Well, and then we had the opposite during Biden.
Part of our cigar group was me, Louis Freeh, and President Clinton's chief of staff, or a lawyer. What was his name? He just recently passed away.
Oh yeah, I know Buckman.
No. Huh? Bernie Nussbaum.
Oh,
one of my best friends.
Oh, yes. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Jerry Finkelstein, Bernie Nussbaum, a bunch of appeals court judges and federal judges. And
that's a good crowd.
It was a good crowd.
That's a good crowd, John. Wow. No. Chris, final thoughts. Sorry. By the way, before we let you go, Chris, the big thing that keeps you up at night now, given what's happening in the homeland.
The more we degrade Iran and their main proxies, the more I fear the wingnuts, the ideologues, the hardcore jihadists, the people who are that we've seen actually activated, in the United States in the past and in the very recent past. I'm also worried about the formalized cells, the card-carrying Hezbollah and Hamas cells that are here after 4 years of open borders, and even before that, really. So, the more they're degraded on the in their missiles and their nuclear capabilities, I think the more they resort to asymmetrical type warfare, which is terrorism, basically.
100%.
Yeah, very scary stuff. Well, that's why we need a great FBI, and thank goodness for great folks like you and George.
And thank you for everything you guys did.
George was a hero right out of Quantico.
Yeah, I have a feeling you were too.
I always looked up to Chris. During our inspection days,
Well, we've all loved Chris. I'm president of his fan club too. Chris, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.